Hi everyone, very good morning. I'm looking at the chat here on YouTube, and I see a lot of. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. I see in the chat, I see that a lot of you have confirmed that you're able to hear me speaking. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Good morning, everyone, and we will kick off Build Block Marathon, the online version of 2025. And so far, we've had Bangalore and Hyderabad. We've had some brilliant projects, ideas, and then we have rolled out a lot of them to Cloud Run and also deployed. And we were able to demo it, and you would see all those things in the blog of Code Vipassana publication channel shortly. You will also have yours published. And if we like something stands out, and if we like a selected few, you will also feature in Google Cloud publication channel as well down the line. This is lined up for December. But in the next couple of days, you will be watching a keynote by Prashant in the next few minutes, and you will have a hands-on a workshop by building a generative AI application, an agentic AI application deployed on Cloud Run, and it is also GPU enabled. And you will also be part of that hands-on, and you'll be able to complete it. And then once that is done, we'll have a set of instructions, a round of instructions with all of you, and you will start building. And later today, we'll have a touch point as well, and a meeting invite will be sent for all of you to provide updates. And meanwhile, you can also join the Discord channel, which has been already shared with you, the links for which have been already shared with you. All the streaming links, the Discord channel link, and everything has been shared with you in email. So please watch out for any information that you're missing. It's already there in your email. So you will have to join the post keynote so that you can ask questions, even if if it's part of hands-on. If you're not able to proceed or you're blocked with something, please feel free to join the Discord channel and ask your questions there. All right. And after that, there'll be a set of instructions after the hands-on. We'll be giving you a link to the Gaia Mentor app, credentials for which will also be shared with you. And you should be able to start building. You should be able to upload your project ID and everything, title and description and everything as soon as you get the credentials. So with that, let's kick off Build and Blog Marathon online today. And Prashant, over to you. One second, let me share the meeting tab with audio. Go for it, Prashant.
All right, thank you, Abhi. And let me start by sharing my presentation. Hey everyone, good morning to those of you joining in from India, APAC, and good day to folks ANZ and elsewhere in the world. Doing some small talk while I get my screen sharing. Awesome. There we go. Super. So, hey everyone, my name is Prashant. I lead developer adoption for APAC at Google Cloud, and I'm super excited to kick off this virtual leg of the Build and Blog Marathon on the topic of accelerate AI development with Google Cloud. This series of Build and Blog Marathon, and some of you who are joining live to this, you'll be experiencing this as we go on for the next 2 days. I think it's really important, right? Because we have so many technologies, ever-changing world that we are in, and it's important for us to come up with your ideas and implement these ideas using the technologies that we are learning, right? So this is one of those initiatives that we have where we're going to support you, work with you, partner with you in bringing your ideas to life. And to that, I will be starting this off with a short introduction to how do you think about AI development and how you can leverage Google Cloud with that. And then we'll go on to some more workshops and other things as we go along. So as I said, the times are very interesting, right? And it's pretty incredible. The speed at which things are changing and the way generative AI is changing the way software is being built and being shipped is incredible. And even off late, we've been seeing so many new state-of-the-art models that's being dropped on a daily basis, right? So Gemini 3 Pro dropped very recently. Very soon after that, we had an IDE, the Google Anti-Gravity IDE. And even before we started getting to speed on anti-gravity, we had the Nano Banana Pro, which is making waves. So the world is really changing, right? It's changing a lot, and we need to keep pace with this. So how do you think about this as an app developer? First thing is, how do I even use LLMs in an effective way in my application? Now, LLMs themselves, you need to be able to steer it in the right direction in order to leverage the capabilities out of it. But then even the LLM landscape is changing so rapidly, right? Like I said, with so many new models and other things coming on a day-to-day basis. What about the buzzword of late, agents? What exactly is this agent? And do I really need an agent? And when you talk about agents, you also hear about MCP, right? Now, I'm not going to say what MCP means right now, but think about it. What does MCP mean? There are so many various definitions of it out there. Which MCP are we talking about here? And then once you build all of these things, where do you actually run this? Right. So these are all thoughts that come into your mind as an app developer. And finally, with this ever-changing landscape, how do I keep pace with it? How do I adapt, and how do I keep focus on shipping the features for my function for the functionality that I'm building out? Then you have the platform engineers. So the platform engineers are the ones who are going to be ensuring that your application is up, running fine, right? And you may have a cross view of things, right? Like from a DevOps point of view, where you'll be working on the development as well as running your applications. But how do you build a foundational system or a platform where your AI applications can be running? How can we make the best use of the hardware that is available today? Right. So we have accelerators, we have traditional hardware. How do we make use of all of this? When you're running AI applications, right? Go back to your traditional software development. We always want to be able to log, monitor, and trace and understand what exactly is happening with our application. AI applications are no different. We need to be looking at that here as well. Security is super important, right? When your application is out there and people are using your application, how do you secure your application against attacks? How do you keep it safe? And finally, all this new technology comes with a lot of cost. How do you ensure that you're running your applications in an optimal way so that you're able to monitor your costs and you're able to optimize your application you're running for costs and leverage the different hardware that we have in an efficient way? So these are all the things that come into the mind as a platform developer or a platform engineer. So with that, let's break this down into two simple things. One, how do you build these agents, right? How do you build powerful agents? And then how do you architect agents that are durable? The platform engineering side that we spoke about, agents that are running, reliable, efficient, optimal, and so on, right? So how do you architect durable agents? So let's start with an agent. The first thing we always try to understand is what exactly is an agent, right? Now, when you start with an agent, when you start with any application, you have a system prompt. Is that enough? If you give an agent a system prompt, is that enough? Right? Something needs to understand the system prompt. It needs to go and satisfy the user's goal based on the system prompt that defines this agent. Right? So, for example, you could do something simple like this. You're an AI agent designed to help adventurers fight fearsome monsters. Fancy. So what? In order to make sense out of this, you need a model. You need a large language model, right? So this is the brain of the agent. This is what helps the agent, the entire agent, understand what it is meant to do and how to go about doing it. And even more important, or even as equally important as the brain, is being able to do stuff, right? And this is where we have agents. You provide agents tools, and these tools allow agents to go out, reach out to the world, connect to the world, and execute and do important things, right? So while the brain directs it, the tools are the one that actually helps the agent achieve certain things. So this is the constituent of an agent. So now that we know what an agent is, what are the different parts of an agent, let's actually go to building an agent, right? So it's easy to talk about all these agents and the different capabilities and how you should be thinking about it. But when you actually start implementing it, you realize the kind of complexity that comes in. And in order to make this simple for you, this is why we have come out with the Agent Development Kit, or ADK. ADK is something that we have created in order to help you build and deploy these agents very, very easily and seamlessly. Now, ADK is a complete framework, right? It has a lot of features, a lot of capabilities, and helps you manage some of the most important things of an agent. What differentiates an agent from an AI application is the agentic loop, right? So the core logic where the agents are looping, doing stuff, understanding the environment, making tool calls, and doing all of this in pursuit of the goal that the user has set for the agent, right? So my goal could be I want to buy the cheapest flight to uh, I don't know, maybe let's say Shimla, right? At a time where it is snowing, but it has not snowed in, right? So that I go actually, I'm able to enjoy a vacation there rather than being stuck in a hotel. That's my goal. Quite complex. There are a lot of things going on there. The agent needs to go ahead and go do this, right? So ADK gives you access to the ability to call tools, ability to call MCP. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about MCP, right? But it goes and is able to hit systems, hit APIs, hit services, hit databases, and get the data that you need. The ADK frameworks helps the agent, helps the model uh, go through this in a loop, right? So helps with orchestration. The ADK even helps you connect memory to your application. So I need to understand whatever is happening, right? Maybe the first tool call, I get information about the weather conditions. I need to save this somewhere in order to go and make, let's say, a hotel reservation or the flight reservation the next time. Maybe I come back at a later point of time, right? And some of my user preferences needs to be stored. So you need to be able to provide databases. You need to be able to provide connection to memory to your agent as well, right? And ADK has all those constructs available. And it finally, after doing all of these things, using all these pieces, you also want to deploy it somewhere, and ADK even helps you with that. So when you're building all these agents, right, the important thing is we don't want you to think about all these basics and how do I make connections and how do I run my agents, where do I run it. None of this needs to be something that you should be thinking about. ADK gives you all those pieces out of the box, right? So you can focus on actually building out the business logic, building out the capabilities of the agent itself. So we spoke about the model, right? Now, ADK has been designed in a way that it is model agnostic. You can bring any model. Of course, we love Gemini, right? It's one of our favorite models. So we will look at how you can use Gemini to build out your agents. And talking about Gemini, Gemini 2.5 has three flavors, right? And as we said, the world is changing so fast. 2.5 is already out of fashion. There's a newer model out there, but we'll come to that. 2.5 is still the generally available model that you can put into production as of today, right? And it's a highly capable model. There are three flavors of it. There's a Pro, there is Flash, and Flashlight. Depending on the complexity of the functionality that you're implementing, you can either go for the Pro model, which has a lot of thinking capabilities, which is highly capable, which can understand your goals and do things, or you can go for the models that gives you faster response times, like Flash and maybe even Flashlight for simple use cases. These are something that you should be thinking about going ahead and using. But I would also invite you to go try out Gemini 3, which is very recently announced and available. So Gemini 3 is currently available in the Pro version, and it is available in preview. So go ahead and try that. That brings a whole new set of capabilities that you can go ahead and leverage in your agentic applications. It is state of the art. It supports agentic coding, and it has really advanced capabilities for tool usage and planning. And this tool use and planning is what is going to help you when you build out your agents. Right. So again, go ahead and try this out. It's Gemini 3 Pro preview. You can go try this out and see how you level up your agentic applications when you use Gemini 3. Good. Now, in terms of the tools itself, right? So this was a model. In terms of tools, ADK supports various tool types. You have built-in functions. You can write your Pythonic functions. If you're using ADK in Python, you can write Pythonic functions or Java. You can bring in your own functions, your own logic. You can even connect it to Google Search, right? Which gives you solid grounding. You get real sources of information plugged into your agent, and it's able to take decisions and actions based on that. You can even bring in your tools from the LangChain world, for example, right? So from other libraries and from the ecosystem, you can bring that in. And of course, ADK does support MCP. right? So if you have your external servers and services, which is MCP enabled, you can bring that into ADK. ADK makes it really easy to deploy your agentic application. We spoke about having to run your application somewhere, right? You have your built your agent out, you want to run it somewhere. And Cloud Run is one of the easiest ways to run your application. Again, we'll talk about Cloud Run in a minute, but the command to deploy your agent into Cloud Run is as simple as saying ADK deploy Cloud Run, right? Or you can even use a gcloud run deploy, which is the Cloud Run way of deploying anything, and you point to your source, right? And it can deploy using that. We'll go into some of this when we do our workshops, right? So you'll actually get hands-on. Don't worry too much about the command right now, but this is to show you how easy ADK makes it to deploy your agents. So we spoke about building agents. ADK helps you build those agents very easily, gives you those building blocks, right? And you just need to put those together and build out your agentic application, right? You don't need to think about the underlying wiring that goes on. But while you have built your application, we also want to ensure these agents are really, really durable, right? When it's running in production. And how do you architect durable agents? So the brain, Gemini take care of a lot of things. The tooling is where you need to now start thinking about what kind of capabilities and what kind of tools, what kind of connections you need to leverage in order to bring in the durability aspect. Um, so how do you really let your agents talk to some of these tools, right? You have databases, you have data, you have various tools, you have APIs, you have services. The agent needs to be able to talk to all of this, right? So this is your, let's say, critical point in your application where an external system is being called, and you need to be able to run this at scale when you get a lot of users, and when your agent becomes successful, right? And hope all of us get there when you're building out our agents. And how do you, if you have multiple agents and agents talking to each other maybe, and various agents talking to same sources of data, how do you ensure that all of this is handled in a seamless way? And this is where MCP, and in our case the MCP we are talking about is Model Context Protocol, right? So this is where Model Context Protocol comes in. What this does is it helps. It is a protocol, right? So it is a standard way by which you are providing the model, the brain, with information that it can use in order to execute towards the user's goal, right? So it provides the model the context, and that is why it is a Model Context Protocol. This is an open protocol which is created by Anthropic, and it's widely in use today. And even ADK supports this as a first-class protocol. So the way an MCP works is you have built out your agent. The agent itself is the MCP client, right? So the agent can go and issue commands or talk to other instances outside, right? So the agent behaves as an MCP client. It talks to the MCP server, the server that is providing the servers the capabilities that the agent is looking for. And the MCP server in turn has access to various tools. So these are tools that actually finally talk to your systems, your databases, your APIs, and so on. Now, why MCP? We will again start learning more about MCP as we go along over the next couple of days. But MCP is very useful because, one, it accelerates agent development. Like we spoke about ADK, how ADK helps in building your applications. You don't need to now wire your agent to individual tools and manage that connection and so on, right? MCP takes care of all of that in a standardized, discoverable way. So it accelerates development of your agents. It handles the guts of this tool calling, right? So all these network level things that we spoke about, it takes care of all of those things automatically. And finally, it is an open standard, right? So it's something which is really expansive. A lot of publishers, a lot of models, a lot of frameworks are adopting this, and it's something that you can very easily leverage, and connect to various kind of systems. And MCP Toolbox for databases is something that we have built at Google. It is open source, and we have made this available. This will help you talk to various data sources, right? So it is an MCP Toolbox for databases. Across the entire database portfolio of Google Cloud, you are able to talk to that using MCP Toolbox, and not just the Google Cloud databases, right? You can even talk to other databases, for example, Neo4j, for example, Mongo. There are connections to that, and any other standardized MySQL, Postgres, or SQLite databases, right? So it helps you manage your connections, connection pooling, authentication, and even gives you telemetry to those connections that you're making, and gives us as one single interface to ADK for your agents to go talk to and get the data out. To use MCP Toolbox, it's very, very easy. You just need to set it up, provide the name of the tool. So the first thing that you see here, which is lookup availability, lookup available ability. This is the tool that is available. We are saying that it talks to a Postgres database. And then at the bottom, you see we are providing a select statement, right? So this is the kind of query that it has to make in order to get this information. The rest of it, which is English description here, this is what the model uses to understand what this tool does, right? So that when the user asks me something, I can look up this tool to be able to answer the user's question. So this information this is how you set up the MCP toolbox. One, to get the data out of the connection, the source that you're getting the data from. Second, to make the model understand when and how to use this particular tool. And again, Cloud Run makes it very easy to deploy the MCP toolbox. You deploy it to Cloud Run and have it available as a server. You don't want your MCP toolbox running on your local machine, right? When you're running your agents in production. So push it to Cloud Run, and your agents can now start talking to the service running on Cloud Run. We spoke about agents, tools, and all this, but again, very, very important is the databases. What differentiates an AI application or an agent from another person is the access to data, is the way you leverage this data, right? So databases is actually the one that bridges the gap between what a basic foundation model is and takes it to becoming your next gen or generative AI application. So consider the kind of databases that you should be using, right? Over the next 2 days, as you're building your application, you would be using some of the databases and capabilities that we have at Google Cloud. And all the databases at Google Cloud are ready for Gen AI. All of them, like I said, are supported by MCP Toolbox for databases. And it's very, very easy to use all of these things. Right? We'll hear more about this, but you will not go wrong with a database selection. You just need to know which kind of a database to be using for your specific use case. And the entire variety of databases are available that you can use at Google Cloud. So building agents with Google Cloud is really easy. You have your runtimes. We have not spoken about that yet. I'll quickly go to that. You have your runtimes. You have the various models, which is the Gemini, Gemma models. You have access to various tools. You can run your databases, spin up your databases, and use MCP Toolbox to connect to these tools. And finally, you have the security and observability suite at Google as well, where you can monitor what's happening in your agents, how they're running when you're running them on Google Cloud. So with that, let's go very quickly into Cloud Run. Cloud Run, we spoke about this a few times. This is a fully managed platform for deploying and ensuring that your application scales seamlessly, right? It is like I said, it's fully managed, so it's serverless. All you need to do is build your applications, deploy to Cloud Run, and Google Cloud will take care of how it runs. So why is Cloud Run so useful for agents? One, as I said, it is serverless, so you have automatic, on-demand, and rapid scaling. As your load goes up, you have more instances that are supporting your network traffic. As the load comes down, the servers will scale down as well, right? So you're saving on costs that way. And talking about cost, you're paying per use. You don't pay upfront, or you don't pay for the maximum capacity that you need to handle. When you're not serving any traffic, you're not paying for anything, right? Or you're paying very little based on maybe the storage or something like that. But you pay for what you use, right? Which is very, very important, which is something that we need in today's world. You can completely ignore managing the infrastructure. All of that is going to be taken care by itself. When you deploy something on Cloud Run and you're using Gemini from Google Cloud, you don't even need API keys. So security, again, comes big out of the box, right? You're able to use the built-in credentials and run your connections. Cloud Run supports any kind of agentic framework and any language, be it a Python, a JavaScript, a Go, or whatever be it, right? You can run any of that on Cloud Run. Right? And gives you out of the box HTTPS endpoint with the latest HTTPS capabilities. So again, it's not just us telling Cloud Run is one of the best ways to run your agents, but even folks at LangChain have said that it's one of the easiest and fastest ways to get your LangChain app running in production, right? So try it out. It's a great way to do it, right? And I would really love to see all of you using Cloud Run to deploy your applications, the agents that you're going to be building out over the next couple of days. Cloud Run even comes with GPUs. So if you want to run localized models, let's say you want to run a Gemma model, right? Or you want to run a llama model, you can do that with Cloud Run as well, because it gives you access to GPUs too. And the same capabilities, it's on demand, it scales down to zero, it starts super fast, and you pay only for the usage that you're incurring. Finally, and most importantly, and this is going to be what anchors everything that you're doing over the next couple of days, and this is Gemini CLI. Gemini CLI is an open source AI agentic coding assist, assistive application, right? You can put in all the adjectives that you want over here, but this is something that is extremely powerful. It runs in your local terminal. You can install it with a single command. I'll tell you what that is. But even if not, you can open Cloud Shell on Google Cloud. So Google Cloud comes with its own terminal. You don't even need to do any setup on your local laptop. You can go directly into the terminal on Google Cloud and run Gemini CLI. So like I said, it is available. It runs in your terminal. It is designed to automate tasks, do anything, right? So you don't need it to use only for coding. You, of course, can work with your code bases, get it to build out your applications, maybe wipe code, do good software engineering with it as well. But it's not just that, right? You can use it for learning. For example, you have a question: how do I deploy my application to Cloud Run, or what do I do to make my application Cloud Run ready? And it can give you those answers as well, right? It can go through your code, or it can give you any informational answer. It is grounded with Google search, so it can give you really accurate information that helps you learn and understand what you need to be building. You can customize this in any way that you want, with system instructions, with extensions, custom commands, slash commands, or extensions, provided any kind of documentation, and Gemini CLI will be able to handle this. Right. And of course, like I said, it also connects to Google search, and you can even have it connect to MCP servers so that it has a source of truth at all times. So again, leverage Gemini CLI over the next 2 days. I think this should be the first thing that you should be installing and getting started with. And it's going to make your journey a lot more easier over the next 2 days as you build out your applications. Gemini CLI has direct integration with Google Cloud. You can, with Cloud Run, sorry, you can install the Cloud Run Gemini CLI extension. And it's a simple /deploy command after that in order to be able to deploy whatever you build out, the agents that you build out, into Cloud Run. So yes, I will probably do a quick show of the Gemini CLI itself. Right. So this is how you install Gemini CLI. A simple command: go to your terminal and do npm install -g at google/Gemini CLI. This will install Gemini CLI. As I said, if you don't want to do that, you can always come into Google Cloud, and let me close this. Right. So this is the Google Cloud window. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And for everyone, at the top right, you will see this activate Cloud Shell. If you open up Cloud Shell gives you a terminal environment where you can do everything, run your Google Cloud commands. The G Cloud CLI is installed here, and Gemini as well is installed. And I'm going to double check that, because I was playing around with it a little bit today morning. Right. So Gemini is installed here, and all you need to do now is run the command Gemini. It comes pre-installed, and when you run Gemini, this is going to spin up the Gemini CLI, and now it drops you into this terminal. You can ask anything that you want. I'm just going to make this larger without opening a new window, right? And as simple as what are the best features of Cloud Run? It accepts spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes, right? So it's smart enough to understand that. And you could do something as simple as this, right? And it's going to give you the information. So leverage this as you build out your agentic applications. Again, like I said, you want to bounce ideas off, you want to brainstorm. You have all our amazing mentors who will be there to help you. But you also have an AI mentor, Gemini CLI, right on your own laptops and machines. Cool. So go ahead and hope you enjoy the rest of the talk. If I go back and find my presentation again, but maybe I'll just stop sharing. So that was the end of my slides. That's basically what I want to start and kick you off with. Again, this is a great opportunity. There's an amazing set of technologies that we have available today that we can use. We have an amazing set of mentors. And with that, I wish you a great Build and Blog marathon, and would be looking forward to see what you end up building at the end of the 2 days. Thank you so much. And Abhi,
Thank you
over
so
to
much.
you.
Thank you so much, Prashant. Really appreciate your time. And you can see all the comments and questions that are surfacing while your keynote was going on. It's really amazing to see the enthusiasm and participation from the developers who are joining us for Build and Blog Marathon Online. I see a few people
If Abhi
trying.
doesn't come off mute, I'm going to keep making some jokes.
Can you hear me,
Or maybe let me show you some more capabilities of Gemini CLI. Um,
Prashant? I was
yes.
speaking. It's on YouTube stream, so I have muted my meeting link. Um, do you want to show some more, or should I continue?
Go ahead. We're good. I think we're good. Now let's get into the workshop and show people actually how to do stuff. So over to you. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prashant. So, folks, so thank you so much for being part of our keynote early in the morning. And then, Prashant, thank you so much for kicking it off with a bang. And it was really inspiring to see all the details that you provided about agent take, multi agent, and also deploying on Cloud Run and how natively it's available. Everything is available for the serverless runtimes, for bringing our generative AI and agentic AI applications on a serverless runtime. I wouldn't take so much time, but but before I hand it over to the hands-on aspect of everything that we heard from Prashant, I want to just clarify one thing because I see a few people in the chat trying to access Bangalore and Hyderabad's um, uh, credentials, GCP credentials. Please don't do that. The GCP credits link that was shared for Bangalore and Hyderabad are timed out right now because those were dated back in time. But now for online version, you would have received a separate one in your email. Please go back to your email and check the uh, Google Slides link. And there is a slide number also provision for where you can find the GCP credits link. So I'd request everyone to go there and check it. Otherwise, don't worry, we will share the link. We will show the link. We won't be copy pasting that in the chat, but it's there in the slides. We'll share the link to the slides, which is already there in your email. All right. So with that, I just want to open up the floor for a hands-on implementation. So before going into that, I want you all to bring your laptop. I mean, you're already on YouTube streaming, but if you're on your phone, please take a moment here to connect your laptops to come online with your code lab that was shared to you in the Google Slides link. There's also a link to activate GCP credits. There's also architecture reference and other things that were provisioned. Please don't worry about all of that right now. Just open the slides, open the code lab, and also open the GCP credits link. I'm going to share the link to the deck here one more time just for convenience. In case you're connected or you're checking email on your phone, this should be helpful. Just give me one moment to share that link. There we go. Okay. Yes, you cannot activate credits from Bangalore or Hyderabad link. There is a deck that was shared with all of you in email, and that deck, Google Slides deck, has a slide with all the details. So just for everyone's convenience, I'm going to share the deck as well. Share my screen. I've shared the link to the deck here in the chat. I have pinned my message. If you see it's from Code Vipassana's message, it's pinned on top in the live chat of your YouTube stream. Please go to the link. Yeah, you don't have to remove any. I mean, you just can go to the slide and copy the Google Cloud Credits link from here. It's build-blog-online. So let me just quickly share that. All right. So I'm sharing my screen. If you can see the first link, this is the deck that you would have received in your email. I've also pinged the link to this in the chat. The first link, this is slide number 6. The first link is your code lab link. Please right click and open that in a new tab. Next is the block template. You don't have to open that for now. And point number 5, sub-point number 2, sub-bullet number 2. So as you can see right here, there is a link to your online GCP credits activation link. So use that, copy and paste it in the tab on Google Chrome, whichever email account you want to access it from. Make sure it's your personal Gmail account, not your work or institution's email. And then how to activate credits, there's also a detailed link with documentation steps for how to activate credits. However, you will be instructed as part of the hands-on as well by Stenel, who's going to just start the hands-on. But before that, let me open the code lab and show you what it looks like. This is the code lab we'll be working on today, prototype to production, deploying your ADK agent to Cloud Run with GPU. Everything that you heard from Prashant in the keynote, the elements of agentic AI application, elements of serverless deployment. In addition to that, you will have GPU infused use case as well. All right. So over to you, Sten. I'm going to open up Gmeet sharing again. Stenal, if you want to say hi to everyone and then turn off your
Yeah.
video as you like it.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone can hear me and see me. So
Yes.
thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Prashant, thank you for the lovely session as well. It was informative as always. And Rami, thank you for arranging all. So without wasting any time, let's say we'll get started. So first thing first, like Abraham mentioned, we need to make sure that we have the access to the credits. So if you have not done, please feel free to follow me. So first thing you have to do is that you have to open the link that is provided in the template or in the slides. It is trygcp.dev/claim/build block online, and make sure that you are using your personal email ID or the ID that you want to log in. So once you have that, you can sign in, and this will give you a pop-up, and it will come and ask you to sign in. Yeah, it will give you a link, and you can click here to access the credit. So please feel free to click on that. If you have already accessed this same credentials once, you won't be able to do it again, because this is a one-time access link. So if you try again, so since I have done this already, I have already redeemed it, and then I won't be able to do it again. So I will get this kind of error. If not, you will be redirected to your billing page. So, for example, you will be redirected to a page something similar to what you see in the current screen now. If you already have done multiple IDs, multiple credentials earlier as part of the previous sessions or previous Google events, you might be having more than one billing ID. So I suggest you to rename the billing ID as soon as you come to this page. Before we do that, so you can see that what are the different billing IDs on your top left. And if on the again on the left side, if you click on credits, you can see that what are the credits. So it should be a $10 credit for this event, which makes sure that we have access to the GPU on our Cloud Run instance. So once you verify that, okay, this is the $10 credit that I have, on the left side, come and click on the overview button. In this overview button, you will come back to the page that we were as in earlier. So click on manage billing. So once we are in the overview, once we have verified the credits, you can click on manage billing account. So this help us to have a name as far as our wish. So you can click on rename billing account and you can put the corresponding account. So I will put BNB online for now so that I make sure that I can track it. So I have the billing account created over here. I will repeat once more. So if you have more than one billing account, you can click on the credits and you can confirm this is the one. If not, you can select from the left drop down. You can select the other billing accounts that you have. Once you verify that you are on the $10 one, you can come to the overview. Then you can click on the manage billing account and click on rename billing account. And you can provide whatever the name that you feel free to use for that. All right. I hope everyone is so far so good with me. Let me share my other window.
Just a quick override here, Sunil. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, please go. Please.
Those who are trying to access Build and Blog Marathons GCP credits, please do not do that. The link is whatever you see there slash build hyphen blog hyphen online. I have been repeatedly mentioning in the chat, and also it's a pinned. There is a pinned link to the deck. Please go to the deck. Click. Don't click the link. Copy the link from there. Ignore the hyperlink. Just copy the link from there and open a new tab. It's explicitly mentioned to copy the link, not to click the link, because you may be on a different email account. You have to activate it from your personal Gmail account. So open the link in a tab logged in to the account that you want to continue to build this project on. And it's build hyphen blog hyphen online. The last snippet of your URL is build hyphen blog hyphen online. Do not try the BLR or the Hyderabad one. It will not be accessible. Yes, the video is available on demand afterwards as well. Thank you. Continues now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I will remember one more thing. In the YouTube, you have enabled the in-call messages. So if you can close that, the screen would be a little bit more larger in the Meet.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So what are we going to do today? Today, we have a very simple. So far, Prashant has been giving us a lot of theoretical information on Cloud Run, ADK, how we can deploy agents on Cloud Run, and things like that. So we will try to do a portion of that in our workshop today. So what we are trying to do here is, as an overview, we will create a new serverless application. That application has a web interface which is powered by ADK. So this ADK has a web interface as a chat interface with other capabilities which help us to create agentic applications in a very short span of time. And instead of using the Gemini API, we will be hosting our own LLM, which is based out of Gemma, which is an open source model provided by Google itself. So we will deploy a new Gemma version in another cloud in-round instance so that we will connect our ADK web application to the GPU accelerated Gemma packet. So again, on an overview, we will build an agent. We will deploy that on Cloud Run. We will use ADK as the web interface, and we will have this as a one CPU instance. And we will deploy our own LLM model again on Cloud Run based on a Gemma model with again GPU enabled. And this will be having more instances to support as well. So I have been mentioning Gemma model. So Gemma, like I mentioned, it's an open source model provided by Google. And how we are going to run this is something using a tool called Olama. So Olama is a tool which allows us to run open source models in various hardwares, including Cloud Run as well. So Google has published the Gemma open weighted model on Olama library. So we will be using Gemma 3 270 million parameter version. So we will start by going into the Cloud Console. So once you have done with the billing IDs and everything. Click on the Google Cloud logo on the top left, which will take you to a screen similar to what you see over here. So in here, I have, uh, if you click on the right next to the Google Cloud logo, if you click here, you can see different projects which are available in you. So in if you have not used GCP before, you might not have any projects, or you will have my first project. You can click on the right top. There is a button called New Project. Click on this, which will redirect you to a new project home. You can project, okay, I can say ADK live demo, and you can select. So in the billing account, you can select whatever the account that you renamed just now. So I'll be using my billing account ID. Feel free to use yours, which is what we just created using the credit and rename. So once you done a project creation, you can click on the select project. So you will have a drop down and you can select project, and this will make sure that the project is selected with this tick mark over here, and you can see the same on the top left. Okay. So that is the project. Step two, project setup. We have a Google Cloud account. We have enabled the billing with our claim on the credit, and we have created a new project. Next, what we will do is that we need a working environment to work on this code lab. It is possible to use any working environment, but as GCP provides a very quick method and an easy method, it is much easy to use something called Cloud Shell. So Cloud Shell, imagine as a temporary VM which lives inside your Google environment. So on the right top, you will see a button called Activate Cloud Shell. If you click on this, it will create a pop-up, and this will open a Cloud Shell editor. So imagine this as a small VM, a temporary VM, which is available in the Google Cloud Console. And you will be provided with a cloud terminal. So in here, you can see that I have already my project in a yellow colored highlighted, but let's make sure that we are on the right project and all. So step number 3, I opened the Cloud Shell editor. I have, so if you get an authorization request, please do authorize so that you will. So since I logged in earlier, it is not asking me the authorization. But since you are all logging in for the first time or logging after some time, you need to re-authenticate yourself. So once you have that, you need to set the project. So gcloud is a CLI command which allows us to communicate with GCP from a terminal-based environment. So gcloud config set project is a command that we are going to use. So this will allow us to set our project ID which we created. So if you have if you have any doubt in what is my project ID, you can click on the icon near to the Cloud Run logo, and this window will pop up again, and you can see the name. It is not the name that we need to copy, it is the ID that we need to copy. So if you don't have it, please copy that. And as part of this here, you can use this command gcloud config set project space with your project ID. For in my case, I will use uh, my project ID, which is, I said, I have a project which is using like this. So this, if you run this command, you need to make sure that the information updated property need to come. If you have done that step, you are well and good. If you don't remember which are the projects, like I mentioned, you can come here and see, or you can use gcloud command itself. So if I run this, the gcloud project list command, it will list all the projects in my organization or in my environment with which I have access to. I hope everybody is following me. So once you get an updated property value, we are good. If you get any warnings or anything, please feel free to index. Now, I'm going to the step 4. Once we have created the project, and so far we have created a billing ID using the credit, we have created a new project and assigned that billing ID to the project, and we have enabled the cloud shell. Now we need to authorize or enable a set of APIs. So every service in GCP is part of some API service. For example, Cloud Run is a part of run.google APIs. So we will be using Cloud Run to deploy our applications or deploying our agents. Now, in order to run the cloud, in order to use the Cloud Run, you need to have a Docker image or a container, OCA containerized image. So in order to store that, we will use something called artifact registry. So in order to enable artifact registry, you need to enable this API. To build the container, we will use Cloud Build. So Cloud Build is you can imagine a CI/CD flow in which to use the Docker file to convert that into an build image. And we will use a platform since we are using Vertex AI systems. Now I have all this. You can click this icon and copy the code sample. You can come back to your cloud shell and make sure that you already have the project selected. Don't lose this. You can paste this and click enter so that you will run and you will get an operation message which should be finished successfully. This will enable all the APIs that are required for this particular lab. And again, if you see an authorization page again, please feel free to do the authorization. You should have the operation message. Now, like we set the project, we will set the region as well. So why we are setting for region for this project, this lab particularly, is that we are going to use a GPU-based cloud run. So GPU-based cloud run is available. GPU availability is limited to particular regions. And since we are having these many members, we will be using a Europe West one. So what I will do is that I will copy this config so that my environment is set, environment variable is set. So I will use the cloud config set run region, that is cloud run region, as Europe West one. Again, once I run this command, I should get an updated property with the region message. Now, so far what we have done is nothing but a basic run through of how to set up the basic infrastructure. Now we are going into the actual presentation or the actual project that we have. Since we are going in a fast pace, we will use an existing starter project. So we will be cloning this already available starter kit GitHub repo, and we will be using that to deploy both our backend and frontend. So step 5, prepare. We are going to use a Python-based project, so we are going to prepare our Python. So let's copy this segment. So what we are going to do is that we will go to the root, the home directory. We will git clone the corresponding repository, and we will cd into that. So if I do, so now you can see that I'm in my cloud shell with the corresponding project and my corresponding directory and corresponding project. Now, what are the files? Let's examine what are the files that we just downloaded in here. So we have two folders and one file, which is a README file. Let's not worry about that. So what we have is a ADK agent, and we have a production agent, and we have a backend. Okay, so let's start with the backend. So if you're seeing a similar kind of a view in here, like I mentioned, you have an Olama backend, which is where you will be using, which you will be using to deploy your Gemma application, and this is the front end which will be using the ADK web. So again, on a review of architecture, we will be deploying 2 Cloud Run instances. Front end will be the agent, which is a CPU-based system alone. We will have another Cloud Run instance, which will be hosting our open source Gemma model with the GPU. So first we will start with the Gemma model. In order to do that, I am on step number 7. So Gemma model, like Gemini, Gemma is another LLM. Now we are going to use a Gemma 3 270 million parameter model. This is a small model relatively to other systems. In comparison, we have a lot of different versions of Gemma model itself, and this is one of the smallest model which is out there. So coming back to our Cloud Shell, we will use we will go to Olama directory, Olama backend. And if you do an ls, this has only one file, and that is called a Docker file. So if you open that Docker file, so Cloud Shell actually has a VS Code integration as well. So if you execute Cloud Shell edit Docker file, which is this Docker file, since I have already switched to the Olama backend directory, this will open. So you can, there is a middle, you can click and drag and make a little bit bigger so that you can also see. So what this will do is that it will open the directory for me, open the file which I just said with the edit command. In here, we will, so this has nothing but a to do command. I will delete that. So my file is empty. I don't have anything at all. We will replace the contents with this Docker file. So before we paste, let's analyze what we are going to do. So the first is the base image. Base image, I'm using an Olama base image, so that Olama is already installed and the dependencies are everything. So this will be a Linux-based instance. And I'm setting a environment variable called Olama host with 000 and port 8080, so that every incoming request, not just not just within the container, within the outside host on all interfaces, I will be listening on port 8080. I will be setting, okay, I need to store my model weights or the downloaded Gemma model in models. I don't want the debugging. I want to keep the Olama alive so that Olama, after, if we are not using for some time, it will shut down to save cost. But for our environment, we will be using native one so that we are disabling it. Now we are setting the model. The model is Gemma 3 270 million parameter. And the final point, okay, I will start the Olama server and I will pull the model. So this is after we start the application, or start the Olama application, we will create the entry point to serve. So let's copy this. I will paste it in here. So again, I make sure that everything I have is here. I'll open terminal. Click on, if you lose after the terminal, after the edit, you can click on this open terminal button on the right top, which will bring back to your old section. Now, what we are going to do is that since we are in that directory, I will use my gcloud run deploy command, and I will give a name to my service and the parameters. So I will run this. So take a minute. Once it starts, yes. Now it is using the Docker file which we populated in our system, in our current directory. It is using the project which we are in, and it is using the region that we set. So what it will do is that let's go line by line and understand a couple of parameters. So I will go through a very important steps. One, I need to provide what is my source code of my application. Currently, my application does not have anything else but rather than a Docker file. So this Docker file is very important because that will be used by the cloud build to build the container image itself. Region, we are setting it again. I want a concurrency of 7 so that I can use 7 requests at a time. 8 CPUs, I will use Olama parallel runs number as 4. I need a GPU, so I will use 1 GPU. I'm using an NVIDIA L4, which is a good GPU for the price range, and which is in our case more than enough. We will be limiting our Cloud Run instance to 1. So Cloud Run is actually the serverless function, serverless mechanism of running the images, right? And if we are getting more requests, the Cloud Run automatically scales up. But in our case, we don't want to do that. So we will limit the scaling capability to one instance max, and I will be reducing the I will be setting the memory to 16 GB. For our environment, since this is just a demo, we are not going to a production environment. So we will say, okay, allow all unauthenticated so that anybody can request it. I don't want any CPU throttling or the GPU one. And I will add a label so that it is marked for our lab. So once we have all this, this should be, it should take 5 minutes to build the container, and we will wait for that. Any questions on this so far? Rami, any questions on the chat?
Yes, I'm looking at a few which are related to billing accounts. Some of you, like Sheikh S1177 user ID, on the chat is saying that coupon code has been redeemed. I just am curious whether you use Bangalore or Hyderabad. Then yes, it would show that up. But if you're using the right credit link, which is build-blog-online, in the end, that is the URL that you need to use. It's there in the slide deck that has been pinned in the live chat. So please go there and copy the link for activating your credits from there. There's no way it's fully redeemed. If you're accessing the correct link and it says it's fully redeemed, it's probably because you already redeemed using that and you're trying to use the same link again. Don't worry about it. Just log into your personal Gmail account, the project that you want to continue to work on in this hands-on, and make sure you link the newest billing account which has $10 associated with it to the active project. For folks who are not able to deploy, one of the reasons, if I'm not wrong, if you get redundancy issues and other things with the GPU, it's probably because you have not linked the right billing account. I see a bunch of repeat folks, so I'm very sure that you already have billing accounts associated to your project, and you're using the $5 one. $5 one is not eligible for GPU activation. So make sure you use the newest created link, which is a $10 billing account credit billing account that is being associated to your active project. Only then you will be able to successfully deploy. Another reason for deployment issues could be that one of your APIs are not enabled, either build or service usage or cloud run or cloud run functions not used. Is not used, but the other ones which Stenel shared in the prerequisites or the early stage project setup steps. Step number 4, enable APIs. Just go back to step 4 in the code lab and make sure you run the G Cloud services enable part from your Cloud Shell terminal. That is one of the reasons deployment could be failed. You may have activated the billing account, the $10 one, but you may not be linking the right billing account to the correct project. So that is a bit of an issue that we have faced repeatedly. If you have multiple billing accounts, rename the newly activated one. Find which one has $10 remaining and rename that into today's date or something like that. That way, you're able to identify it at the time of selecting or linking that to the active project. Yeah. So please do that. This recording is going to be available on demand as well. So if you're not able to do it now, you will still be able to reach out or access this video and complete it. However, step 7 um, and 8. Step 8 is the last step of the code lab that you will be doing hands-on. After that, um, step 10, I think. Sorry, yeah,
Step 10, yeah.
yeah,
10
step
will be
10 is the last step of the code lab. So you still have just 3 more steps to go for you to complete this code lab. After that, it will be theoretical, but it's really important the productionizing and testing phases of it, which Stenel will be walking you through. But up to step 10, make sure you're completing it as well. This way, it will be helpful for you to complete or take your project to the cloud and roll it out to you roll it out to cloud run deployment as well during the build and blog phase later today. Yeah. So carry on, Stanley.
Thank you. So for those who are having issues with the billing ID, I will just demonstrate once more. So on the left top, you can see there is a hamburger menu. Click on it, and you will see on the list, you will see something called billing. Click on that, and once you click on the billing, you will, if you see a page like this, click on manage billing accounts, which will redirect you to all the billing accounts that you have. So as of now, let me share my other window. Okay, so again on the left top, if you click on the hamburger menu, then open billing, you will see the billing account page. And in here, if you get another page, you will say click on manage billing. And if you get into here, and if you have more than, so most likely you will be having more than one account name which is named as cloud Google Cloud Platform trial billing account. So if you don't know which is the account, for example, if I select this, and on the left hand side, not on the hamburger, just on the left hand side, yeah, if I can see that there is a credit. So this credit, I can see this is only a $5 credit, which is not something that I want. I want something is which we created today, which is $10 one. So I can go back on the left top. I can select my other billing ID. And now I can see in the credits, okay, this is actually my $10. If I find my $10 credit, and most likely if you have redeemed it today, you will have the start date of today as well. I did it yesterday, so this is my yesterday's date, but you will most likely see it today. And if you have not renamed it already, please on the left hand click on overview, which will take you to the page in which you have a manage billing account button. Click on that. It will redirect to your page with a rename billing account button, and you can use whatever the name that you seem appropriate, and you use that. So if you have already created a project and you don't know how to attach it, you can come to manage resource, and you can select whatever the project. Click on here, settings. Sorry, you can on here. You can click on billing. Then you will come back to your this page. You can click on your projects, and in here you will list the projects. You can select this, change billing, and you can select the billing ID if you already have a project created with a different billing ID. So you can see that how you want to use that. Okay, let's go back to the topics. Okay. In here, I have successfully deployed my application. So in the top, I will search for Cloud Run. I will select the Cloud Run to make sure that I have my application deployed. Okay, I can see that my application is good. So I will, okay, you don't have to do this, but I just need to make sure in the security you have allow public access so that everybody can access it. Then you can see the URL here. You can click on this, or in the lab itself, if you scroll down at the end on step 7. So wait for the after we waited for the deployment. So once we have a successful, you can run this command. This is also a mandatory command to run because this environment variable which will be used later. So I copy this environment variable. I come back to my Cloud Shell and I paste this, and I can see that my URL is here. So if I click on the URL, it should open up a run.app application with Olama, and I should see my Olama is running. So as we can see, it is responding back, and we can see that my Olama is running. So far we have deployed the backend, and now the backend has been successfully deployed. And now we got a Gemma model with GPU running on this. So it's time to switch to step 8. So this is where we will be using our ADK to integrate or create a front end for us. So first thing, okay, in our code, if you are currently in Olama backend, just come back and switch to ADK agent directory. So again, in the starter kit, you will have an ADK agent directory. So if I do an ls, you can see that, okay, clear and do this again. You can see that, okay, I have a Docker file. I have a production agent folder, and I have server.py and the test file and the pyproject.taml file. So now I want to edit the production agent. So now we are going to create an actual agent. So far, again, to repeat, so far we have only deployed an LLM, which is the Gemma model with the GPU. And now we are going to create an agent to use this. So step 8, line second command, Cloud Shell edit. So if I run this on my Cloud Shell again, you will again come back to a different file with a to do. So this is agent.py. This will have only to do. I will delete that. I have an empty file now. And I will copy the contents over here. And I will come back and, sorry, I'll come back and paste here. So let's see what we are trying to do in here. So we have not that much, just 50 lines of code totally. And most of things are boilerplates. Okay, now we will import basic things. So we have our environment variables and all. Now from ADK agent, we will import agent so that we can create an actual agent. We will use light LLM so that we can connect to our custom model. So as Prashant was saying earlier, ADK is agent like platform agnostic and model agnostic. So we does not need to use Gemini altogether. We can use Gemma, which is the demo that we are doing. So what we are doing is that, okay, let's load the environment variables and we make sure that we have all the variables set. So in here, we are using a Gemma model. So I'm giving the Gemma model name over here. And the API we will be providing as this API endpoint. So how do we create an actual agent? It is much easy than you think. We just want to provide or point to the agent LLM that we want to use as the brain. So here I am using the LLM Lite function to create our endpoint based endpoint to my model lecture. I'm giving a name. Okay, this is a production agent, and I'm giving a description as well. These not matter as much as the other stuff, but you need to provide a name and description. A production ready conversation assistant with a GPU dilemma. Now the instruction. So this is the most important tool, most important section of this as well. So this instruction, this is a multi-line description, which will nudge your agent or nudge your LLM to behave and work in specific scenarios or in a certain scenario. So in here we are saying, okay, you are a gem, you're friendly, knowledgeable, and you are a zoo too. So this is a persona that we are attaching to the agent itself. Now we will be saying, okay, you don't have access to tools because we are not providing any tools. But if you create a more sophisticated agent, you can create and attach tools that the more agent can call tools as well. And once we have this, so now we have created an agent with ADK, but we have not yet ready to deploy. In order to do that, we need to configure some more items. So first, next I will go is that I need a server. So since even though we have an agent, we are not ready to deploy it because in normal ADK, we can use ADK web commands. But in order to make it deployable, we will use something called, we will use a fast API server. So I will come here back to step 8. I will open the server.py in Cloud Shell editor. So I will copy that. So here I have updated this. I will open terminal again. I will run the server.py again, a to-do file. I don't want that. I will come back to my tool lab. I will copy this section and I will paste it over here and I will describe that again. Then I will again come back to here. I need to update the Docker file as well. So let's go back to the terminal, edit Docker file. Again, I have to do, I will replace it. I will copy this, paste the to do, paste the Docker file. Okay. So now we have agent. I have explained what other lines it does. We will go into the server.py. In server.py, we are again, this will be the running application running entry point. So we are configuring our agent directory to use the web version of it. So these are the two lines which will make sure that we are attaching our ADK agent with the web version into the server application. Then I will have an endpoint for health, and I have a route which will just redirect me. Now I'm using an application to run on any interface and port 8080. So let's go back to the Docker file as well. Again, this is a Python application, so I'm using Python 3.13 version. I'm having a package manager. I'm using UV over here. It's just using the UV and using the UV to run the application as well. Now, before we do that, if you notice, I'm loading the environment point, and I have not mentioned anywhere in the system how do I connect to this Olama endpoint, because I have not provided any of the Olama endpoints. So that's where we will come to the step number 9, and we will use this statement. So earlier in step number 7, we have at the end, like I mentioned, we exported the Olama URL into an environment variable. If you have not run that, please come back and run the step number 7 and export Olama 7 URL, so that we will create an environment variable and we will provide that URL over here. So this has 4 variables, environment variables. One is your project Google project ID, which will use G-Cloud to get it, so that you already have a project ID set. You most of us will be using Europe Test 1 as we require the GPU. Then we will use the model name. If we have not changed that, it will be the same as well. But this variable will need to be changed for each deploy, each person on the code. So I will copy this. I will come back to my terminal. I will run this, and I will do a cat.env so that I can make sure all my values are populated. Okay. So Cloud Run project. Okay, this is my project. This is correct. Europe Best one correct, and demo model, and I have got my Olama endpoint as well. Now, what we will do is that we will use the gcloud command again to deploy it. So I will come again, step number 9, deploying the ADK agent. I will copy the gcloud run deploy command. I will run this section, so it will come back. I'm in the ADK agent directory itself, so that it will use my source as the current directory. This will create the again on the region Europe West. I'm using on allow unauthenticated, since this is just a demo and I don't want more memory. I just limit into 4 GB. I should only have a max of 2 GPUs. And my instances, again, I don't want scaling for now because we are just doing a demo. I have one concurrency of maximum 50 requests, and each request can have a timeout of 300 seconds. I will be also setting the environment variables that we had in here, so that we use it on the deployment again. And I will add a label so that we can know according to a lab. So this will take a couple more minutes to run, because so I will go back in here while it built. You can, if I search for Cloud Run, this you don't Cloud Build, you don't have to do this. You can just see. So you can see my old builds are happening. So if you click on any of the build, you can see that it's actually built. And since I don't have the permission to see this, but if you are the admin or the editor of your project, you can see that. You can see how the using Cloud Build to create the Docker image and deploying it. It will take a minute or two to deploy that. So that's it. Again, any questions on that? Or So I have done, my building has been successfully done. It is setting the AI policies and the deployment. So you can see that, okay, my actual system is getting provisioned. Here, I'm not sure my security is allowed, but let's see it. It's waiting for the system to be provisioned. Okay, so the service has been updated. Now the traffic also has been updated, so I got it. Again, to do it in our way, we will make sure that we get the URL. We can run this command, or you can click on here the URL as well. This should bring up an ADK web portal. In here, you will have the, so if you have reached so far, congratulations, you have actually successfully deployed a agent using ADK. And let's see what I have. We'll say hi. So ideally, what is happening? I have an application, a front-end application, which is the ADK web. I have deployed it on Cloud Run. I have opened the Cloud Run instance. I have I have given a prompt, which is just a hi for now. Now this will connect to my other Cloud Run, which is running my Gemma model and read the response and stream it back. So let's say, okay, hi, welcome to Amazing Zoo. I'm Gemini. So, okay, now you can see that, okay, this is our model, which is responding back. And it has the agentic persona that we set for the zoo knowledge keeper. And okay, now what can you do for me? So again, if you have done so far, congratulations, you have been successfully deployed one. On the web interface, I just want to show you a couple of items. So on the left side, you can see there is a production agent, which is the name that we gave. In here, you can see that traces of each, because on the debugging environment, this will be much helpful for how to evaluate our model and how to understand the model behaves. So you can see that, okay, I have given a hi, and this is the invocation. It ran on the production and it called on an LLM. And you can see that, okay, this thing. So events, first one, grading image, I can do the tracing details over here. I can come here and click on an event. You can see that, okay, this is the first text. So this is using a model role, and you can see how much prompt token to us, how much candidate token it was. So the prompt token includes the system instruction as well, not just the prompt that we have. Now we can see that, okay, what are the details on this? In the so in that is the event. If you come back to the request, you can see the model HTML 3 to 270 million. This is the system instruction that we provided, which is defined in the agent. Now it is, the user is just saying, the user is just trying to say hi, and on the response, we got the response back, and from the data, we can see the, in the state, you can see, if you have multiple agents, you can see a diagram in which what are the different agents which are in working together, so that we can see the state diagram and evaluation and selection as well. Cool. Okay. Any questions so far?
How many of you have completed deployment, folks, successfully? Just show some reactions on the streaming. Thumbs up or hearts or likes. Okay. Messages are fine too. Please let us know if you're able to successfully deploy it. This video is going to be available on demand, so you can also complete it later. just for your learning purposes, how to use. You don't necessarily have to use GPUs in your building block phase for the rest of this event. Mm, but this is a good learning in case you want to use it potentially in your future project. Awesome. So many have confirmed that it's done. For folks who had issues with billing account, like I said, you have to go to billing and make sure the project is linked. You have to open linked billing account. You can't just go to any billing account because it will always show the most recent one. So you'll see $10 and you'll think it's associated to the right billing account, but that's not how it's done. You have to go to linked billing account. How would you go that? Select the project from the drop down in the landing page of Google Cloud Console, and then choose billing from the search bar. You can type billing and choose that, click that, or you can see if you have pinned it, you should see it in the left pane as well, in the navigation menu as well. So once you click that billing, it will give you two options: go to linked billing account or manage billing accounts. You have to go to linked billing account to verify if it is the $10 account. For those who are facing issues with deployment, if it's not related to the API enablement, it's most likely that is the reason. But that's okay, because you can always come back and recreate this or use a separate email account and just have one project and one billing account in it. Yeah. Yes. Whatever a- sorry, AI backend you want, you can use that. It doesn't have to be Gemma. It can be any model of your choice as well. But in this case, we're using Gemma. Yeah, so looks like we have a good number of deployments still, so you can go ahead with.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to see a lot of people are able to complete. Congratulations on that. So I will run through the next steps as well. You can feel free to deploy, do the test of your own. So how do we test the elasticity, right? We have done this agent deployment as two parts. We have created two Cloud Run instances, one as a front end and another as a back end. Now, why did we do in such a way that we could have done easily in on a single instance it's altogether? But as you might have seen that my first agent is just a CPU based interface. It is not doing any computation on it, such like that. So my scalability is not required on that. But on the other side, I have a lot of work to do on the Gemma phase. So we need to do. So there is a test file which there's a Python based test which creator have in where you can load test the system and see how the scalability works. So in basic scenario, you will be having a lot of traffic which can be handled by the agent before the system need to scale up. But in Gemma case or the GPU-based systems, you will be coming into a bottleneck much quicker in more requests are coming. And if it is you have more tools and more systems, it will be running on an agentic loop, which would automatically trigger more API calls to the agent, and you need to scale accordingly. So you can use the Elastic test, and you can see how the scaling happens on your agent on the front end side and the back end side. You can also observe how the Gemma becomes the bottleneck and everything. So this in here we have limited our capability or the max scaling to one. But if you do the actual test, you need to increase that so that you can see the scaling works according to the incoming request. All right. So that brings to a conclusion for this. I hope everybody had a good time on the lab. And those who are facing issues, please feel free to read through the documentation again. And most of the time, it is either billing account or the permissions. If you have any permission issues on a service account or the user account, go to IAM and give the appropriate permissions. If it is a service account, use that particular principle and give permissions for that. And with that, I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sal. Thanks everyone for staying through the hands-on, the keynote and the hands-on. I hope this was useful for you, and I hope you learned how to quickly deploy on Cloud Run your agentic applications, irrespective of the model of your choice. If there are issues with respect to build step, please go to the build logs. It's very self-explanatory, and it's also very helpful to go to the logs sometimes because the issue is right there on the surface, and then you'd probably be debugging something that's completely unnecessary to fix. So please go through the logs. Since it is the logs, sorry, the logs link is getting displayed in the terminal itself. Most of you overlook that, and then you just keep wondering, I don't know how to fix this. It's very difficult to deploy it in Cloud Run. That's not the case. If you go to the log link, and then if you go to the build logs, you will find the log description, the error description so detailed that you would be able to fix it yourself. Or you can use Gemini CLI to copy paste the issue, or just observe what's going on and fix it for you. It's not that difficult anymore to resolve bugs or to debug systems. Yeah. So thank you so much, Stenil. I hope you had a great experience too, because it's a Monday morning and it's so encouraging and it's so inspiring to see so many developers log in and join the streaming at 9 in the morning. They were actually waiting on the stream for it to go live, and it has not dropped below 70 throughout the two sessions, and we at peak we've had about 95, 98 viewers. So it's really incredible to see that on a Monday morning, and most of you are working or in universities. I know most of you personally because you've participated in Code Vipassana sessions in the past. I know most of you are working too, and for taking this amount of time from your schedule, it's really incredible and inspiring to see how inclined you are to learning everything that's latest and greatest in data and AI. So thanks for that. With that, we are shifting to the next, shifting gears a little bit, and uh, you know we have to rush through the next set of instructions because we have to start building real soon. We're just 2 minutes away from starting the build and blog phase of the Build and Blog Marathon 2025, the online edition. And for the instructions, I'm not going to repeat everything that was shared already in email, but one thing I would like to call out is that the credentials email will be sent to you in like after the instruction session is over. Yeah. The credentials to the Gaia mentor, because this is an online edition, in addition to having Discord channel support from us, and in addition to the leads that will be there answering your questions and trying to unlock you as much as we can remotely, we will also be sending you the Gaia Mentor tool, which is also part of your, which the link is also part of your slides, which slides link, which has been pinned in the live chat in the stream, as well as available in your email as well. So please go back there and take a look at the Gaia Mentor link. It will be updated there, but I'm going to share the Gaia Mentors link here as well. In addition to that, the video recording of what exactly you're supposed to do with Gaia Mentor is also there in the deck itself. I'm going to play the video really quickly right now and then walk you through the steps of Gaia Mentor. It is important for you to track your project's progress in Gaia Mentor tool as soon as you start the build phase. So you should be able to start editing or updating your project in that after 12 p.m. today. So you will receive the link and the credentials in your email at 11:30. Okay, but I'm going to play the video right now so you hear from me what I'm talking about, and also I'll show you a live navigation of the tool itself. So let me go to the deck. Here we are.
Let's sign in as the hackathon participant. Here, you have so many features to help track and monitor your project and progress. You can create your project by entering the details, design, use cases, uploading artifacts. Or you can save it and come back to edit your added project. Every progress you make can be recorded here. You can iteratively get feedback from the hackathon mentor or the owner. Also, you can create your own action items or use the AI-assisted action item generation feature to generate the checklist for your project details. You can pick and choose and save your progress. You can configure additional team members from the event list of users per your event's rules. Next, you can use the always available virtual AI Gaia mentor for your project updates, questions, status details. You can have a live conversation, share screen showcase your demo, or share architecture diagram and more. You can answer questions from Gaia to confirm your progress. You have the option of submitting your conversation summary at some point to your mentor. This is mandatory for the auto evaluator to update the status of your project whenever you are ready to submit. Finally, when you're ready to submit your project for the event, share the deliverable details, check off the Gaia demo confirmation and click submit. You will be safely logged out from the project.
Okay. So I hope that helped. This video is shared with you in the slides link that was shared in email and is also pinned in the live chat. So go back to the slides, go back to slide number 5, I believe, and you'd be able to see this video again at your own time after this. But I'm also going to show you what this looks like in real time. So let me open a tab here. So 1 second, this tab. All right. So you will be getting this link right now. Okay, here I am. I'm using my credential. You will be using yours that is sent to you in email, will be sent to you in email at 11:30. So I already have an existing project, but in your case, you will have to create only one project. Don't create more than one. If accidentally for some reason you need to change the project title, then you can create one project, an additional project, but don't submit all the projects. If you have more than one entry submitted in the final submission, you will be disqualified from the demos shortlisting. Yeah, from the shortlisted set of ideas or folks for the final demos. So make sure you do a final submission of only one project. All right. So I create a new project right now. So in your case, you would do that as well. Let's say I'm creating something. Application use case, be as descriptive as you can in what you're building. Again, you will see this tool summarize whatever you enter. It will capture all the critical, objective, qualitative, and quantitative essential details of your project in the summary. Don't worry if you type in 3 paragraphs and it ends up summarizing it into 4 or 5 lines. It will capture everything that's important. So make sure to be concise, but at the same time, cover all your details, important details in the use case, high level design, and artifacts description for the artifacts you want to enter or upload. If you feel like, no, no, I don't want the summary, I want the tool to know everything that I'm doing, feel free to create a Google Docs, docs.google.com asset, and you put all your details in there, detailed description and everything that you want, and make it accessible by anyone with the link, meaning publicly accessible, and upload it as an artifact, as a PDF. Download it as a PDF and upload it as an artifact, and share the details of what you're shared, the particular artifact that you're uploading, and mention it here. You can upload up to 5 files. If you upload more than 5, the oldest uploaded file will get replaced. Yeah. So be aware of all those things, and make sure you provide the description of anything that you want in the sample dataset or artifacts description. If you're wondering the sample dataset, whether or not it's mandatory, it's not. It is for you to capture any detail that you want the tool to know. The tool will do a first level assessment of your ideas once you do the final submission. So any data that you're going to provide will be beneficial for you to understand your detailed project a little bit more. However, if you feel particularly confidential about your data set, do not share that. We are not responsible for data set that you're sharing. You're sharing it at your own consent. Of course, we won't be using it for anything else apart from assessment of your ideas, and it will be deleted after this entire series is over, which is end of this month. So we won't be using your data set for anything, but if you feel confidential about it, or if it is industry or organizational data that you shouldn't be sharing, do not share it. Provide some sample data or mock-up or fabricated information that you want to share, and that is totally fine. Yeah, you will not be disqualified for not sharing enough data, but you will be disqualified if you share wrong or information that's been plagiarized or something like that. So be careful about that, and save and create a project. Yeah, you can take cattle data and all. That's okay. That doesn't come under plagiarism, but just make sure that you have the right license, and you attribute to the owners of the data set. That's really important. Save and create project, and then Once you go to the progress tab, you don't worry about the notes from your mentor, because this is Gaia Mentor is there to support you for 2 days. You don't have to worry about the top part, but the bottom part, generate checklist, is there to support you. So you select the actively created project and start generating task suggestions. These are AI generated, but typically I would advise you to create your own task, because you know what you want to do. Basically, once your idea is shortlisted, once your idea is determined and you know what you're going to build, add some goals like tasks and timelines. Of course, you only have 2 days, so you can only choose between today and tomorrow, because you have to submit it by 11 a.m. tomorrow. After that, there's no extension, right? By I mean, build process should be complete. Blog should be complete by 1 p.m. and everything should be submitted by 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. So enter the tasks between today and tomorrow. You can choose a deadline for it and save changes. Yeah. Coming back to team, maximum of 2 people is allowed for each team, minimum of one. So you can still be just one person team and continue to submit your project, build and submit your project, or you can be a two-person team. Make sure not more than 2 people, because you won't be able to add or we won't be able to acknowledge or attribute your completion to more than 2 people. The first 2 people will only be selected for acknowledgement of a team. So make sure you're only 2 people max or one person minimum. That's totally fine. Additional team member, the one additional team member that you're going to be added, you have to add them in the team members section. Don't add their name, don't add their email. You have to add the username credential that will be sent to you at 11:30 of the team member that you want to add. Like you see right here, the owner of the project who is actually entering these details, their username will be displayed here, and your username will not look like this. Your username will be auto generated. It will look like Clever Fox or Wise Fox or something like that. You have to copy that from your email and paste it in the team member. Whoever is your additional team member, their username should be entered here, and you save team configuration. All right. Live session. This is a mandatory live conversation you need to have with Gaia. Every project needs to go through this. If you don't go through at least one meaningful conversation with Gaia, your final submission will not be accepted. That is how the tool is designed. So your final submission itself is a challenge. If we have your final submission, it means that you have submitted a relevant project, and you're more than likely to get, depending on other criteria like Cloudra, like how well it competes with the rest of the projects that have been submitted, and then it is more likely to get shortlisted in the top 10. That's the only window to be eligible for for being shortlisted in the top 10, which is to be able to submit your final submission through Gaia Mentor. That is your first level gateway. So don't complain if the tool is not accepting you, because I've already warned you that the final submission will look for relevance in your title, the project description. It will look for relevance in your blog. Your final submission can only happen after you've completed the blog and your project and your GitHub repository. Everything should be in place for your final submission to go through. So live session with Gaia is one of the minimum criteria that the final submission expects. So how do you do this? Select the project that you're building, and make sure you have at least one active conversation with Gaia. You can also chat, but it will ask you questions. It will ask you to show the demo of what you have built. So the actual conversation can only be complete after your build is entirely complete, because it will expect you to show a live demo of what you've built. So you can screen share and show. You can start talking, and you can actually share your screen and choose what you want to share, for instance. Right now I'm not sharing, because too many layers of sharing is going on in my system right now, because it's YouTube streaming. So I'm not going to share, but read the instructions and follow it to every level of detail that's there. Because if you share screen and forget to stop, then it will not respond to you properly. But because it's async, right, it's an async process, so you will not receive a confirmation from it immediately. However, it will still be able to capture the details. Keep your screen share session and talk session to 25 seconds, but you can do multiple. You can get response from Gaia and then do another screen share and talk to it and talk to her and show the details about your project and get feedback. Ultimately, Gaia will be satisfied at some point, say, okay, I have all the details required for your project. You're good to go and do the final submission. That's a great point to check out and go to final submission. But if you feel like, I don't want to have this level of conversation with Gaia, I just want to show this much, and then have a minimum conversation and go to final submission, that is also okay. But remember, Gaia will do a first level of assessment. So having a detailed conversation is encouraged for you to rank top in the list. Yeah. So select a project. In the final submission, it will expect your blog link, it will accept your GitHub repo link. This important warning or announcement, this is an advisory. Don't get panicked in the last moment thinking that it's an error message. It's not an error message, it's an advisory for you to know that the README file readme.md is mandatory in your GitHub repo link. You can copy paste your entire blog right here in the readme.md, or you can provide the instructions, use case definition of what you're building, and the instructions for setting up your project in the README. If you feel that your code is confidential and you don't want to share it, that's fine, but at least a bare minimum of a project name, the GitHub repo name, project structure, and a readme.md is very much a requirement. And the readme.md should be relevant to your project title and description. So you can't get away with just randomly submitting any other GitHub repository link. Again, the blog has to be adhering to the blog template that has been shared with you in the slides that was shared with you in email, and is also pinned in the live streaming chat, live chat that's available. So make sure to go through that. However, this part is only tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will walk you through the blog instructions and template one more time. So you can feel free to wait until then to write the blog. Or if you're already done with your project by end of today and you want to, and you're eager to do the final submission today, please go through the blog template as well and make sure all the important components are covered in the blog. A fluffy one paragraph blog, it will not be accepted. It has to be a detailed blog with all the directions of how to do it, what you did, why you did that, and what problem you're solving, and how you're solving it with technology, and how you're using serverless runtime, that is Cloud Run, and how you're using Gemini 2.5 Flash or Gemini 3.0 Pro Preview, whichever it is that you're choosing. It is important for you to cover all that in the blog. Live application link. This is your Cloud Run deployed application link that needs to be shared here. If yours is a mobile app and you don't have a Cloud Run deployed link, feel free to share whatever deployed link you have, you can share it here. A Cloud Run deployment is mandatory for you to be ranked in the top 10. Right? So at least have one component of, even if it's your mobile app, have your agentic part or some part of it deployed on Cloud Run, and describe, and it being described in the blog is mandatory for us to be aware as reviewers. And being able to shortlist your project will require your mention of how you have used Cloud Run in this project. And you can't just say it. We will go through it and make sure that your submissions are all relevant and um, genuine. Okay, don't make some random claims. Make sure it's genuine. It's very simple. Pick a use case that is tangibly possible for you to complete in the next 2 days. Make your deliverable tangible, and make sure the impact for your deliverable in the industry is really relevant. Don't think it's difficult because you're online, because in both Hyderabad and Bangalore, we had winners, not just top 10 shortlisted folks, but also final winners. One of them was from the online participant version of Bangalore and Hyderabad as well, in each. So make sure that you're able to do this. Relevantly and genuinely for your submissions. We will be able to review that, and we will go through all the details that you're submitting once you make it to the top 10. And to make it to top 10, convincing Gaia mentor is really important. If you're unable to do something for some reason, we are available in Discord channel for your questions, but make sure to have that final conversation, with one minimum conversation with Gaia for you to do the final submission and all the other requirements that I went through right now. Demo video link. This has to be a YouTube link which is unlisted but private. If you want to keep it unlisted, if you're okay sharing it in to public, and you can list it and give us a publicly listed link as well. But it cannot be a private video because we need to be able to access your demo video link. Keep it under 3 minutes. Do not exceed that. Otherwise, your processing time for assessment will be delayed as well. And if you're sharing a drive link instead of YouTube, you can do that, but make sure to set its access to anyone with the link. Yeah, that's mandatory. Again, keep it to under 3 minutes, not more than that. Closing notes, make it more descriptive of what you have implemented and how you've done it. Of course, not multiple lines, not a paragraph, just 4 or 5 lines should be good enough. And Gaia conversation confirmation. This is you voluntarily confirming that you have had at least one live conversation and submitted. If you go to the live session in Gaia, you see the submit conversation button is there. It's mandatory for you to submit it. Submit every time you want to save or record a conversation, because if you don't submit, the conversation doesn't get recorded automatically. Again, the submitted conversation history will not be displayed here. Only the active conversation history that is not being submitted will be displayed here. And this is just a placeholder for the active conversation. Just to avoid lengthy screens and too much confusion, submitted conversation summary will not be displayed here. Don't worry about it. Whatever conversation you have with Gaia, if you submit it, will be recorded safely. If you get the save successful message once you submit the conversation summary. If you don't submit, the video record will not be saved, because we don't want to save anything that you don't want us to save it or record it. And note that only your conversation summary will be recorded. The video of the person that is capturing that is not going to be recorded, so don't worry about it. Yeah. So final submission requires all of these things to go through, and only then your save and submit final project will be successful. It will successfully log you out once you do that successfully. If you're not able to save and submit successfully, you will keep getting very descriptive error messages. Don't read the first line and say that it's not accepting, I don't know what is going on. Your error messages are left pretty raw on purpose, so that you exactly know what is going on or what is missing. It is technical, because we are all here to build and blog. We are developers. So your error messages are not business friendly. It's very developer friendly. You will exactly know what is going on, so that you can go back and fix that and come back and submit it. Yeah. On purpose, it's being kept like that. So make sure you do all of that. Um, so yes, with that, I'm going to stop sharing the Gaia Mentor aspect of it. One second. Let me come back to the YouTube stream. Here we are. Um, I'll stop. No, I'll share the deck instead, so that we know. Yeah. So we're pretty much done with all the details. I'm going to paste the link to the um, Gaia Mentor app in the chat and also in the slides deck that is being shared with you. Gaia Mentor link. I'm going to share the bit.ly link. If it is asking you to confirm and go to destination, please click that and navigate as required. Yeah. So here, show for folks who have already, you would not have possibly used up the build blog online credits that you have already claimed. So don't worry. Um, you will still be able to use it, access it for the rest of the demo, or sorry, for the rest of the build session. Or if you feel like you need a fresh project and a fresh billing account, I'm going to share one for that as well in the same deck. So the deck link is pinged. So go to the deck. You will have everything that you need. So you can come back to it. Yeah. So you can come back to this. All right. So with that, I'm going to paste the link to Gaia Mentor here as well in the chat. It's bit.ly/GAIA-MENTOR outsmart. Yes, you will receive the credentials to this app. You won't be able to access it until I send you the credentials email, which will be done after this live stream has ended. Okay. The links to this Gaia Mentor, additional credits, your existing credits links, all the details that you need, along with the Gaia Mentors usage demo video, everything is there in the Google Slides link that has already been shared and pinned in the live chat. It is also there in your email. So if you're missing anything, go back there and you should be able to get all the information that you need. So I've stopped sharing my screen right now because I want to talk to you about what you're going to build in the next half day today, which is the rest of the day today and tomorrow before 11 a.m. All right. So I'm going to share a Google Meets link as well. You don't have to join the Google in email. You'll receive it. I'm not sharing in the chat right now. You'll receive it in email. You don't have to join it right now. You have to join it at specific timelines, which will also be mentioned in the email that you'll receive at 11:30 or 11:45 whenever this live stream ends. One thing is the Gmeet link is for further instructions and checkpoint. There is no stream for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, again, we have YouTube streaming in the morning and the final demo and the valedictory, which is the award ceremony, which will also happen online, and it'll be live streamed on YouTube. But there will be a Google Meets link for the mentors to, sorry, the demoers. That is you, the shortlisted projects will be joining to present your screen as well. That will be tomorrow. Today, for the rest of the day, there is no more YouTube stream. However, there will be a Meet link which will be shared for later today for folks to get more instructions. So it will be around 4 p.m., but you'll receive the details in email. While all the instructions will be provided in the meeting, you also have an active Discord channel where all our Code Vipassana leads from the community are actively listening to you and they're responding to you to unblock you. All right. So you can access Discord channel link right now. They're live right there waiting for you for to unblock you to continue to support you. Please go there and start asking your questions. If you have questions related to the build and blog phase today and tomorrow, not anything else, because we want to focus all our efforts only on that so that we are not distracted. The link to the Discord channel has already been sent to you in email, but I'm going to add that link to the Code Vipassana, the Google Slides link that has been shared with you and is available in live chat. You will get the Discord channel link there as well right now once the stream ends. All right. So with that, I also want to call out the submission deadline. Today, for the rest of the day, you will continue building. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., you will stop building, right? 11 a.m., again, we will have a YouTube streaming. I mean, we will have a YouTube stream in the morning at 9:30 to just walk you through the instructions. You will get the streaming timeline. Sorry if I'm giving you a wrong time right now, but it's all there in your email. It's all there in the email that was already sent to you and in the RSVP site for this particular session today, where you signed up for, right? Where you signed up for this event for, right? So go back to that link or in your email you have the timeline. So join the live stream tomorrow for instructions on the blog template and blog instructions so that you are able to make it to the shortlist if you submit it finally. If you do the final submission fully, um, you will be assessed for your blog to adhere to the blog template that is shared with you already. Yeah, so we'll go through the template again tomorrow morning. So between 11 a.m. tomorrow and 12:30, you will complete the blog. By 11 a.m. tomorrow, you will complete the build phase, deploy in Cloud Run, everything that you need to do complete by 11. Between 11 and 12:30, you will complete the blog. Between 12:30, you have 1 hour between 12:30 to 1:30 to do the final submission. Why do you have 1 hour for final submission? Because it's not easy to convince Gaia to accept your final submission. You have to talk to Gaia to show the recording, to show the screen, to show your final submission, the project that you're submitting, to show the live demo, to talk to Gaia, to convince Gaia with your blog, with your everything. Right? When I say convince, you know what I mean. I showed you the demo as well right now. So for you to go through all the steps, it will take some time. So sharp at 12:30, start submitting in Gaia Mentor in the final submission tab. So between 12:30 and 1:30, we will lock it. 1:30 is the final deadline. We will freeze submissions. You will still be able to submit, but you won't be able to participate in the assessment because at 1:35 sharp, we will download all the submitted projects that are assessed already, and we will go through all the submissions to take the top 10, right? So 1:35 tomorrow will be the time that 1:30 we'll freeze, 1:35 we'll do the assessment and download the projects for assessing top 10. So I hope that helps with the timelines. So rest of today, please continue to build, use the Discord channel. There is no more YouTube streaming for today, but you will get a meeting link for later for 4 p.m. today, where we'll just have a checkpoint. If you have specific questions about that you cannot ask in Discord that you want addressed, you can join the Google Meet at 4 p.m. today and go through that. All right. So we'll meet you all soon. You can look forward to receiving an email from the Build and Blog team. Right now, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, you will receive it with the credentials. Don't try to immediately submit your project. Try to submit your project after 12 p.m. 12 p.m. is the cutoff time. That's when you will be able to enter your title for the project, provide all the descriptions and everything. If you have questions about submission, please use the Discord channel again to get it resolved. Yeah, there's also a video in the slides that was shared with you to demonstrate how to use the Gaia Mentor tool. If not, this stream is also available on demand. You can just go back in time and see the streamed part of Gaia Mentor demo. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to end stream right now. I hope this was helpful. Thank you, everybody. Bye.